so I will call meeting to order. The record shows that all of the board member and staff are here, and also we have all of our new committee members. So I recommend that we do a formal introduction.
Do introductions all around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm Tom Ledoux, I'm on the board.
I'm Craig Wilson, new to the Public Advisory Standing Committee.
Carla Christensen, I'm a board member.
Vi Campbell, Soquel Creek Waters.
Communication specialist.
Communication specialist.
Yes.
I'm Ileana Brunetti. I'm new to the committee. Nice to meet you all.
I'm John Dickinson. I'm a resident of Soquel. I'm on the Water Rates Advisory Committee here at the district. And I always look for something to do, so they gave me this.
Go.
I'm Jennifer Lena Thompson, and I'm new to the committee.
I'm Rebecca Rubin, and I'm the Public Outreach Coordinator.
I'm Ron Duncan, the General Manager.
I'm Becky Steinbruner, a member of the public.
All right. Well, I want to welcome the new members on behalf of the board members and so thank you so much for taking time out of your day and being on the committee, because it's really paid dividends having members of the public give us input and also be liaisons both ways, you know, feeding us and also taking the information back out to the public. So thank you for your time.
So, the roll call oral communications. Does anyone have any? This is the time. If you would like to say something.
I do, thank you. I first of all would like to ask Mr. Duncan if you did decide to extend the public comment period for the draft EIR for Pure Water Soquel.
No, we did not. We
Alright.
gave the regulation of 45 days, but we also did a tremendous amount of other outreach ahead of time to inform people. So they had, you know, from the public meetings to all the notices that we did, also like 8,000 postcards. So we feel we try to do front-end work.
Mm-hmm. The difficulty that, because I held 3 public study sessions trying to help people comprehend the very complex, thick document. Were any of you able to read through all of it?
Yes.
Yeah. It's challenging.
It's been 6 weeks.
Yeah.
At this point, and there was a lot of head notice about the exact day it was to be released, and it was released on that day. So it's, you know, there was the first work study might have been just in that first week, you know, and then you had a head start on all this.
I'm curious, Becky, you were over at John Leopold's meeting earlier this month.
Yes.
And you had a meeting after the meeting. Did you
That was
feel
the second study
Did
session.
you
yeah.
feel that was successful, and how many people attended?
There were about 8 people that came to that. Everyone's, in all 3 study sessions, the feeling is, my God, where do I start?
Well,
And
that's why-
how do
that's
I
why
interpret
the
this?
little, community book,
But that's not complete. It is not complete.
You know, this is a,
Yeah.
you have
So-
to make a comment.
so
Really
my
goes back and
comment-
forth.
You can pose
I
your
understand.
questions, but this
So-
is a comment period, not a question.
I'm answering the questions that your
Okay,
committee
well-
has asked me. So I just want to say to you that by not extending it, you have the ability to do it legally. 45 days is the minimum required. Legally, you can extend it up to 60 days for a 60-day comment period. I think it would have behooved the public perception of your district and the project to have honored people's many requests for more time, because it is a very complex issue and a very complex document. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, well, I'll just add that I considered it, I consulted various people, and what we realized, many of the comments weren't from actual customers. And when you look at what the delay cost us, when we're looking at $5 million a year increase in cost if we do go forward with the project, it turns out to be $14 per connection. And we didn't feel that was worthy of extending based on charging that to our customers additionally. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, so we're on to business. I extend another welcome to the new members. Really, I think it'll be a really worthwhile discussion. So then it's the overview. Is that
Yeah.
Take it away.
So I had sent out last year's annual report about the communications and outreach, last fiscal year, I should say, about what we did, kind of just to give you all the new members an overview of kind of what we did. And so here's a draft. We just wanted to go over, the goals haven't changed, and I believe our audience really hasn't changed either. And so this is our draft communications plan for fiscal year 18-19. And so, again, with key messages, always talking about the community water plan and the importance of the 4 different supply options that we're looking at, and plus overdraft and seawater intrusion occurring. And then we would like to do another progress report on the community water plan. Last year we did, I think it was 2014, they did a really big, long 8.5 by 11 one this size. And then in 2016 we did the smaller one, which is right there. If you guys don't have a copy, grab one on your way out. And so we were thinking of doing another just kind of update to the community water plan and where everything kind of stands. Banners, we have been rotating them here out in the headquarters every couple months. Sometimes they're monthly, sometimes they're every couple months. We did a couple at Capitola Village this fiscal year, and then we have one hanging at O'Neill Well, right there on Soquel, which is the toilet rebate banner. So we want to continue that this year. We've gotten really good feedback from the public, and especially when the toilet rebate one hangs. Because they ask, oh, how'd you hear about the rebate? And they're like, the banner outside. And so we're like, yay. So people are looking at them, which is kind of cool.
You know, there's a location that I always thought would be really good for those banners.
Yeah.
At the end of Porter Street, right where it intersects Soquel Drive, there is a building which has been vacant for about 2 years now that used to be an auto body shop. And people do hang banners on that thing, and there's traffic stuck there all the time, so people have
That's
time
a
to read
really
the
good
banners.
idea. I wonder who, I'll have to look into who owns that and see if we can contact them and see if they'd let
I
us
bet
hang
you could.
something there. Why not?
Thank you, Jen.
That's a great idea, thank you.
Yeah, so anything that you get a little flavor, that may be a small
Yeah,
item to contribute, but
Jump in and
as members,
as we go, or if,
Yeah, this is more of a freewheeling committee, it's not a.
yeah, we're not super,
Looking for good ideas.
we're not
and
super
feedback.
formal.
Plus, I'm a big mouth, so that's.
No, but
We appreciate it.
was really worthwhile. John was on the rate committee, and
Oh,
done that
nice.
for over a year so
Yeah.
far and running. And it was really that freewheeling that enabled us to
Sure.
everybody to get on the same page, figure out what we're doing, and make knowledgeable suggestions, actually. So it's good. It was good.
Well, I'll add, there's another banner opportunity maybe at the intersection of Rio Del Mar and Soquel, where the junior high steps are.
Oh, yeah.
There's always stuff up there. It's not huge stuff, but it's,
Oh, that's a good, the auxiliary street pickups.
and you get, yeah,
things.
pickups,
And we still do the one along San Andreas, right? At the-
We
at
haven't
San
put it back
Andreas
up
Hall.
since someone complained about it.
What?
I think it was a duration
Maybe,
on that one.
yeah, I'm
So
not
we'll
sure.
brief for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
shots, maybe.
Maybe we'll put it back
It's our
up and do
well
it for a
site.
couple.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Yeah,
see it.
someone complained to the county
Oh, really?
That-
People spend enough time stuck
that they
on
didn't
it.
wanna see a toilet, it was the blue and orange toilet one,
Oh, okay.
rebate one. So maybe we'll put the
We could use a
reduce,
different one.
reuse, like the Earth Day one out there or something.
Yeah.
I like that one.
That's not as,
Yeah,
the
it would
toilet
be
on it.
offensive.
Yeah.
I guess, I didn't think it was offensive.
But actually moving them is a good thing, because people
No,
get
it
jaded
is.
and they start not
Totally.
seeing things
Mhm.
unless
Yeah.
it's orange and blue.
Yeah.
That's
Or
a good
something.
idea.
There,
Yeah.
there is an ordinance of a certain time period that they can be out to.
Yeah, so.
But keep your ideas coming
Yeah.
on locations.
Highway-
Now,
You're driving around
Highway
town
one
and-
is stopped so much of the time.
Right.
Any of the overpasses,
I don't think they're legal
Yeah.
It's
to
not
put them
legal.
up there.
you could
Yeah, I
call
think-
CHP and find out. That's
Yeah.
their overpasses, not CHP, but Caltrans.
They, oh,
They
They
need the
have to
revenue,
be-
so they might,
have
you
to
know.
be, I think, 48 hours, it's like less than 48
Oh,
hours.
for
or
events or
24
There's
hours,
a lot.
something like that.
I don't know, election season's coming up, you'll see banners up there, so I don't know.
Totally, yeah, exactly.
Of course, there's always the Capitola downhill down Monterey Avenue.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do those.
They
We
did
did
very
I'm not sure
good
people
research.
like
twice
there.
this year.
Yeah, they like it for a week, I guess.
I think it is a week. I don't know.
Yeah, I have to look it up again, I haven't
Yeah,
looked
it's
at it
usually
for
about a
many
week.
years.
They rotate their banners a lot down there.
But that's good, I think rotating, because people
Yeah,
always look
no,
to
it's-
see
it's great.
what's there.
That's why we started rotating them at headquarters, because it was like, people don't want to see the same thing. Sorry.
Must be mine.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, keep going. We're gonna create a staff one pager, kind of like an FAQ. So, you know, a lot of field staff get questions all the time, and so kind of the high points of the community water plan and Pure Water Soquel, if they do get questions, they don't feel like, I don't know, you know, they don't feel like a deer in the headlights, and so they'll have something to read and be able to just answer those questions. Editorials, request some meetings with editorial boards, with the different papers around town. Speakers Bureau, we've been doing that as well, going outreach to service clubs, business groups, community groups, going around talking about the community water plan. I kept Ron and Melanie pretty busy.
Yeah, let me contribute to that.
Sure.
So, you know, the district itself has been so pro-education for at least 2000, and Vi's been heading that up. You know, I joke that Vi's been teaching kids in kindergarten that now can vote, and it's true. It's not just a joke. And so we've had that, you know, kind of in our DNA, but we've taken it to the next level of really trying to outreach and go to community groups. So if you have any community groups, if you're a Rotary Club or any even
You're already scheduled.
Rotary Club, I know you, thank you, but even we go into people's homes. Sometimes we'll have 5 or 6 people over, and that's often even the best way, because it's just.
HOAs we've
Yeah.
gone to.
So, you know, we're wide open. If you have any names, feed them to us, or you know. Just want to put that out there.
And then, go, sorry.
I was gonna ask about the Waterwise Academy, actually, is it?
Oh, that's the next, we'll get there.
Item? Okay, never mind.
So we do a lot of different events, including our own, plus participating like at the fair and Sip and Stroll, Earth Day, business the business showcase by the chamber.
Yeah, Aptos Chamber.
July 4th.
We
Farmers
did,
market.
yeah, we
July
are.
4th.
July
And you were
4th,
so
farmers
busy that
markets.
I was gonna say, hey, I'm a new member, and you're just so flooded with
That's awesome.
people that I was like, I'm not gonna bother.
You should have jumped behind the
Anyway.
booth.
Yeah, well, I wasn't feeling quite qualified yet.
You will be.
And
Yeah, so
we
that's
did
good.
some well tours and monitoring well tours, and so we want to continue all that this year. We started coffee talks in May. I think the more as we've done so May, June, July. So we've done 3 so far, and each one had a little bit more people. I think
This Friday will be another
Yeah.
one.
down at Ground Control in Seascape.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
Yeah.
Seascape Village.
I don't
And
think I've ever
so
been
it's
to
always
that
1
one.
to 2 board members and 1 staff member is how we've been doing it. Whoever's available.
And how do you just have people, whoever's there is,
Just available.
so it's just sort of a walk-up kind of a.
Yeah.
Little sign on the table maybe indicating.
Yeah, we have signs. Vi always brings a bunch of different goodies and information, and I think last time we provided some coffee. Yeah, so.
Nice.
Yeah, I've participated in a few of them, and the questions asked are usually just topical, what's on the mind of the person buying coffee
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
But that's why it's good to have 3 people to really answer questions or discuss an issue
Yeah.
informally.
Then we want to get the education trailer out there to the farmers markets and the community
We'll be at the
events.
farmer's
to
market
schools.
this Saturday.
Oh, awesome.
Cool.
Aptos?
Yeah.
And that's a little trailer we converted to take it to the people kind of thing. So they don't have to come to us.
And then the Learning Center, which we're in, we really want to start bringing in, inviting school groups and different community groups to do presentations here and then have them walk through. And then our Waterwise Academy, which I will talk about in the next item. So we'll just move on. And then ongoing, we do email, so we have a monthly e-blast. We do press releases about once a month, and then specific emails as needed. And then we're on Facebook, Nextdoor, and Twitter. And right now, the 2 Facebook things that we do, I always do on Monday musings, and so it's usually random quotes and facts about water. And then Water Wednesday, I've been trying to share different articles about water. And then we do jobs announcements and meetings and events as well. And then advertising, we have a monthly ad in the Times Publishing Group, in the Aptos Times and the Capitola Soquel Times. And then this fiscal year, we added Aptos Life. Aptos Capitola Soquel Life, I think, is the whole name of it. And then the Sentinel, we kind of do as needed in the Good Times for special events. And then bill messages, we can change every month. It's just text. We can't do anything graphic to them. I don't know how many people actually read them. We don't have any data.
Will that be the same with the new software?
I believe so.
I don't know.
Oh, you mean that it be only text?
Yeah,
Don't know.
because
I've asked Valerie that yet, but they don't know
There's
yet.
a couple, you'll see, there's a couple different formats, billing formats that
Right.
can be used, so yeah.
I'm hoping that we could pop a picture
little
in.
color picture.
Yeah, would be really nice. And then bill inserts are just the size of the envelope, front and back. And you've probably seen them when the water quality report came out in your bill. They're expensive, so we don't do them a ton, but usually it's for really important information that everyone needs to see.
Although I think a lot of people throw those.
I know.
Recycling.
That's why
Everything.
I'm kind of thinking there's this thing called a snipe, and it's printing on the actual envelope from your bill instead. So like
Huh.
Nice.
you don't have to open anything to see what we want to tell you. So that kind of goes with the bill insert. So we've talked about doing those instead. It just depends on how much information we need to get out to them.
What percentage of your bills are going out in email?
It's a good question.
Because it seems to me that that's a much more efficient way to do it anyway.
They also get it in the email. They get
Yeah.
an attachment with
Oh, that's
with
true.
the bill insert.
But, yeah.
So even if, no matter what, you're gonna you should see it if you're opening your emails or.
Right.
But you know,
I
people that are on
wanna
auto pay, who knows?
I want to
You
say
think it's half?
roughly half, I think, but we'll check with Leslie on that. I may be confused.
And then we do a monthly water wisdom column in the Aptos Times and Capitola Soquel Times, and then just other as the MGA e-blast, their website, partner Facebook pages, and partner websites.
Yeah, so let me comment for a second. So yeah, as you go through this, you know, there may be something that strikes you more than others, and you can definitely confer with staff. So for example, the monthly water wisdom column, Melanie Mal Schumacher is not here today, but she generally writes that. But if that's something that's of interest to you, or you have an idea, or you might want to co-write something, let us know. We're open to that. We're always looking for new ideas. It's you know, to keep a column going month after month can be challenging sometimes to really put stuff out that's worthwhile for the reader. So
She does a good job.
she does a great job. I'm not diminishing that. I'm just
No,
trying
but
to
I
encourage
get
you.
it.
But we love to hear your
I
ideas,
think-
so if there's
I'd be
something.
willing to write. I'm a writer.
Oh,
Oh, you are? Okay,
cool.
that's what we're talking about, using the strengths of everybody. Yeah, okay.
That's awesome.
I probably need to be fed ideas for a bit, but
Okay,
yeah.
okay, fantastic.
Great.
Wait,
Takes me forever to write one. No.
I would also volunteer as a
Yeah,
retired.
you eventually get there, but writing is a long process for me.
yeah. And it's interesting, you can, you know, it doesn't always have to be exactly about a water supply or this or that. I wrote a column for the Sentinel for a while, and some of the most popular were like movies related to water or water quotes. You know, you would think it would be the meaty stuff that you publish, but a lot of times you attract new readers. So
Yeah.
a lot of ways to approach it.
We try to do like a heavy topic and then a light topic and then, you know,
Yeah.
kind of back and forth just to.
The last one.
And also to make connections for people, like you say, with the films or just with their everyday life that they wouldn't necessarily think was related to water.
Yeah.
So my background is in science museum exhibit development.
Oh, cool.
So
really?
I kind of am always looking for the angle
Uh-huh,
where you
uh-huh.
can get their attention and trick them into learning something.
I love
So
it.
I'll be really happy to work with you guys.
That'd be
Cool.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know it's a lot to take in, so, you know, can email us, call us anytime if you have an idea. And,
It
you
is a
know,
good question on the end though, is how do you know how you're doing?
yes, so we do
I know with
use-
e-blasts and stuff, you know how many people open it. And probably with the social media, you know how many people go to the site, but otherwise, it's kinda hard to know.
Yes, unless people, that's why, so, especially on rebates and stuff, if we're doing something hard or the banners, we try to have that question, how'd you hear about it? So You know, did they look at the website?
Right.
Did they see something in the newspaper? So conservation staff has been really good about asking. People don't always remember, but
For what it's worth, in my first year in graduate school, I was an intern that summer for Johnson & Johnson in New Jersey, and one of the things I was assigned to do was to try and measure the impact of advertising. It's impossible.
it's hard.
It's hard, yeah.
It's
It's
very hard.
completely impossible, and I think this is many, many years later, people have found no more success, even on the web, where you have all sorts of ways of sort of, teasing out what happened. You still don't, you know somebody clicked on an ad and you know they got to your page. From then on, you may or may not know what they did, and, they may have ordered the product, but maybe they returned it, you don't even know. It's getting better in the online world, but it's still very, very far from perfect.
To me, the value of doing so many different methods is I
Get
think-
some feedback.
Yeah, because
yeah.
you're gonna have different ways to catch people, right, some people, so.
Different
I think it's
people.
good that we have a variety of ways.
And we always try to do a survey after an event that we host, just to get feedback on the event itself. So.
It may be outside of the outreach plan, but I was wondering if the water district does like targeted education, where you know who your big water users are, and then you go there and then talk to the manager and or employees about
right.
ways to maybe improve it.
Yeah.
As a proactive step.
Right, right, we have done that, different groups that we zero in on. We even had a program for a while that looked at distribution and kinda gave a smiley face. Maybe some of y'all got it, or a frowny face, depending on your water use, so that in a sense targeted users. Yeah, so,
I was thinking like the
We
gym, I
also-
go to a Capitola Fitness, like,
Mhm.
on 41st Avenue, the gym has water signs. It tells you not to, turn off the shower while you're,
yeah.
and things like
Yeah,
that, but I
yeah.
don't see it at the Capitola gym, and like, I was thinking that they're probably a decent sized user.
Capitol and
Things like
21st?
that. That's who does have the signs.
Okay,
At the one on
On Bay Avenue.
Bay Avenue, yeah.
okay, oh, yeah, I
Yeah,
know
that
that
used to be
place.
kept of the
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah, it used to be.
Okay.
That's just one example.
Yeah, that's a great
It's-
example.
You know who the big water users are,
Right.
whether or not they.
Yeah, we've also targeted the landscape users, and they
yeah.
get a landscape budget
Right.
and a report card in a way on how they're doing.
Yeah.
Do they regularly?
Is that outside of the outreach plan then?
Yeah.
Probably,
It's in
so it's
conservation.
Yeah.
I see.
And so they have an, analysis on how well they're doing, and they have an online portal where they can look and see how they're doing based on what kind of plant type they have in their landscape, and it's all analyzed, beforehand, and they can change, if they change like a huge hedgerow and convert it to something else, they can change their water budget on it.
I can tell you that when I moved a next generation family into our home, including a teenage girl, we would get a nasty gram at the bottom of our bill. And it was just a message that you are way out of line. And, it was really nice when they moved out, I kinda got these nice notes at the bottom of the bill.
But you're doing great. Well,
You
smiley face.
noticed that.
And we do work closely with
Yeah.
conservation to help them get out their information and whatever kind of things they're working on.
Things like Seascape Resort, I think has
Mhm.
kind of reverted back to the old ways. I was thinking about regular contact is probably good.
Yeah, we have put a lot of time in within
I
the
know.
site.
Yeah.
Well, I think, we
Constantly
talking about
doing it,
various
not
kinds of
hearing it.
advertising and outreach, then the lack of advertising and outreach is probably really measurable, it's just not, you don't get any effect
Yeah.
at all, so you don't know what really is the most effective way of reaching a customer, catching their eye, and making them think about their water use, but we do know we don't do anything. It's,
Get it
you already
into
have
your
past
portal.
history, you can do it before and after.
Well, on our rebate forms, we have a spot for how did you hear about this rebate? We know a little bit about that too.
And then we've done some general polling where, the proof's in the pudding. How do you feel about Soquel Creek Water District? Do you trust them? And we're always been ranked high in that. So I think that's the summation of it all, but exactly the nitty gritty, it's a tough one. We recently, Becca and Vi just created magnetic signs to go on the trucks.
Oh, yes.
So that seems like an easy win,
Or they just,
For rebates.
oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because the main thing, increasingly people don't go for the news, you know, the newspaper, local newspaper, which is where a lot of water issues are going. I don't think they even have a dedicated water reporter in very many newspapers. But so they could be hearing from Santa Cruz City or the state, the drought is over,
Right.
you know, that's not really our message at all.
Yeah.
That we still have a water problem, so we need to put more effort into outreach to keep reminding them that, the short showers, I mean, just even some of the basic stuff.
I have a question. Do you know what your typical water user looks like? Like how old they are, how many people are in their household, their medium household income? Like, just can you paint that picture for me? Who are we talking to?
Us.
Look, this is it right here. I mean, that's kind of the demographic.
We are like 90% residential use, or
We're-
I think higher than
85%?
that.
We serve 90% residential, so 10% commercial and government, but well-educated, a little bit older. We have some demographics on that, yeah. But you're talking about to help the targeting of the messaging, yeah, no, that's good, good thought. We can get more of that if you like, we can dive into that. I'd like to just take a second to go back on Carla's message. This is something we need to be aware of. Santa Cruz is almost all surface water, right? So when it rains, they're flush with water, and when it's not, they're really, really hurting. And we're all groundwater. So sometimes that messaging in the newspaper, because we're Santa Cruz centric, right? As far as the reporting. And then people hear, it's confusing to them that, oh, the drought is over, or the drain, the log's full, and we're not.
Rationing is over.
Right, so just give that some thought about how we might tackle that.
One other thing, question I have is, have you guys looked at television? I ask because I'm on the symphony board, and our marketing guy recently started using television during last season, and it was very, very effective for us.
We have some conservation ads
Hello?
running on TV right now,
Do you?
actually,
On
on two different
KSBW or
stations.
KION?
KSBW, KION, and two different Spanish stations, Telemundo and Estrella. And it's, they're the videos that the high school students made about conserving water. And then it has our logos and our websites at the very end of it.
Yeah, so
a
it's not
water-
Soquel
It's a water,
Creek.
it's not just us, it's the Monterey Bay, or the Conservation Coalition of Santa Cruz County and the Monterey County Water Awareness Committee teamed up on that.
Well, I'm more concerned about actually the issue that Ron's raising, because you don't know how many people, know I'm involved with water, and they go, oh, the drought's over, what's the problem?
Yeah.
And, Soquel Creek has a particular message to get out there. We're not the only ones with that message.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty, groundwater all up and down the coast is a problem, okay? So I think getting that message out, because otherwise, that is really the fundamental, this sort of the fundamental issue behind why pure water makes a difference. And so I think if you can get that message clear with people that no, the drought didn't stop for us, we really could use that message out there in much more bigger
prominent
lights,
way.
yeah.
John, I challenge all y'all to think about how to do that. You don't have to do it now, but it's been our,
Well,
like a giant thermometer, that kind of stuff. But think
It's a
about that in the
complicated
coming
picture.
years, how we
Yeah.
separate, differentiate ourselves from that.
Because that's the first, in your presentation that you did at the last town meeting, that's really where you start. And I think that if you're gonna talk about conservation in any sense in Soquel Creek Water District, that is the fundamental message.
Yeah.
And somehow making that a grounding point for everybody's thinking about this district is really important.
I had one other comment. I reviewed this entire document, and for a small agency, it's really impressive that you guys have a lot of stuff going on. I thought it was just, I was really amazed at
Yeah.
the depth of the outreach in so many areas this is a very small agency.
We worked really hard.
Yeah, well, someone did. And I think that as I read it and looked at all the various means, that the water education component seemed like, on the longer term, the most important. This is a great room, but I know the schools sometimes have trouble arranging transportation. And the idea that, and you're already doing this, being out of schools, either in assemblies or working with schools, it looks like you have a train or two for teachers. But I'm guessing that works into the science curriculum. at those grades. But you could all, with handouts or whatever it is that works, you're reaching the parents too, if the children take it back with them. But I guess that's an area that the results aren't quite as immediate because the children don't get feedback right, but understanding where their water comes from and the science of water just seems really important to me. It's a much longer term
Mhm.
investment.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that
It's-
I had
Yeah,
talked to
I mean,
kids
Kids are
that,
great
you know,
messengers.
Yeah.
They're adults
one-
now.
One of the ways that this country stopped smoking was teaching kids. And they would go home and say, Daddy, put out that cigarette.
it wasn't adults that stopped on their own.
It
but-
really worked.
I've had parents complain to me, they're like, yeah, your kid came home and
Oh,
told,
yeah.
or my kid came home and told me this, so you get out of the shower.
Good.
My
Your
daughter-
messaging's
I've
working.
had the same thing happen, so.
Yeah, when my
Yeah.
daughter was in college, she came home with, water doesn't grow on trees bumper stickers that we were supposed to put on our college bag in Connecticut. So it's just, that really helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even handouts, actually, let's face it, we've all had to clean out the daily backpack, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
But it looks like you reached about 700 students in according to last year's plan. And I'm not sure what the total is, but it looks, I think it's something like 3,000 students in the district.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah.
So that's a quarter of it's a pretty good chunk, but if there's any room for expansion.
I think
the
that's
schools-
direct, I think for all of the assemblies, it's more in the thousands because
see.
it reaches the entire school
Yeah.
per show.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So
and
there's-
Earth Capades is the group that's gonna be here next, and they've, I gave them a tour here and educated them on our specific issues. So they're gonna tailor their show for us with our messaging, in the shows. And I really like speaking about surveys and things and getting data. I really like how they use, SurveyMonkey afterwards and pull all of the teachers and the principal, and then they do an annual report at the end and give us the feedback about what response they received from the teachers and parents.
Yeah, and these,
The teachers and principals.
the, what's the name of the?
Earth Capades?
Earth Capades, I should know that.
Mhm.
But yeah, this year, we use different teams of people, but they go into the schools and they put on a show. And I think you could take somebody along if they were interested in
Oh, yeah,
seeing that.
definitely.
It's quite, these people put a lot of effort into it and work with Vi on
Do a lot.
tailoring it toward our situation. Then, you see 500 faces, of kids
Mhm.
just beaming.
It's
So,
really fun.
What
Yeah.
age groups do you usually target?
It's elementary school, gets the elementary schools gets the assembly shows. And they usually, for the large schools, have 2 shows, so the lower elementary, and a lot of times those groups will tailor their show for lower elementary and then do a different show or different songs for the upper elementary
Yeah.
grade levels.
I
Zoom
wonder
Zoom.
about,
Zoom performed last year,
Uh-huh.
and so this year will be Earth Capades, and before that it was Rocksteady Juggling.
No, it's
So it's
bananas
like
look.
entertaining, it was Rocksteady Juggling, I think.
I saw, well,
Oh, it was.
it doesn't
yeah.
matter, we don't need to
Anyway,
argue
yeah.
about it.
Anyway,
Those are the 4 though that you normally do,
yeah,
right?
so there's 4 different, like, edutainment groups.
I was gonna ask about the possibility, I know that at least in junior high, I suspect in high school too, I haven't gotten there yet, but, that the kids are required to do some, or encouraged to do some volunteer service,
Mhm.
community service.
Mhm.
And I think at that age group, the students will listen to each other much more willingly than they might listen to adults or hear messages from adults. I wondered if you thought about somehow involving high school students in some of the outreach or having a
Yeah, we
docent
went
program or something.
We went to
like
some
that.
Rotary Club meetings and some
Rotaract and
And-
some,
and-
what was the other one?
environmental club at Aptos High, and it was, I wasn't sure how we could engage them in doing
At the Lottie
education with each
Club?
other.
At least from when Melanie and I went,
Like
they
a
had like
hands-on activity.
set what they were gonna focus on the year before for the next year. So it was kind of like,
The teachers had or the students had?
students.
Students.
yeah,
Okay,
we've tried. It's been a hard nut to crack.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's a really hard age group.
I mean,
But you're,
Had a
you're,
presentation in my
you're the
environmental science
president,
class.
or the teacher for the environmental club at
Right.
Aptos High School,
Oh, okay.
so.
so I've had them, and so they learn, but haven't made a connection with them doing something with elementary kids. other than actually, I have them teach a lesson at the elementary school at the end of the year, but it's not always on water.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, did you ever, just did you mention the trailer too?
Oh yeah, we did at the very top, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, so the education trailer has been, so when Vi's been doing classroom presentations, the trailer has come with her, now that it's available.
For high school.
For high school, yeah. I thought you took it to
I
middle
did
school.
one elementary school,
Yeah.
but I think it's better for high school.
Yeah, it's still pretty technical. You know,
Yeah.
it's very, you know, it is pretty effective, but it's still, this is pretty technical information.
Yeah.
Should we do water wise?
Yeah.
Yes.
Moving on.
Can I make one comment on this topic?
Yeah.
Yes.
Before you leave it, if it's appropriate. I just want to point out, because you were talking about surface water from Santa Cruz versus groundwater from the district, there was an article in the Santa Cruz Sentinel, an interview with your general manager, Ron Duncan, and it said groundwater levels are at an historic high. So that can also be, you know,
Or,
yeah.
No, it didn't say that.
it didn't, yeah, it didn't say that.
The increase in
It
one
didn't say that.
season was historic, but that was.
Not
that
the
was
water
not-
level.
It was absolutely, I actually came in and talked to him about that. It was it was a problem where there was two articles back to back that
Mhm.
looked like they were in conflict with each other, but they are not. And he sought to talk to Kara about trying to straighten that out. I don't know whether it ever happened or not, but he did not say that the groundwater is at historic highs. In fact, it's at
Because they're
historic
not.
lows.
They're below.
Yeah, because it's not even close.
Because
It's
that's what got
improved.
reported.
Yeah,
By the way,
It's not.
what are you using the camera for?
This is a public meeting, but it's not recorded, and many people are interested in what the district is
I'd like to see
doing.
your release form. Okay.
It's a public meeting, isn't it?
You still need to give me a release form before you use it.
All right, I'll do that, thank you. I've never been asked about that, and I've filmed many of these meetings, so,
Sure.
thank you. Would you like me to turn the camera off?
It's up to you.
I'll turn it off. I don't want to make people uncomfortable, I'm just trying to get information to the public that they don't have access to. I'll turn it off.
Of how the district works and also the challenges. Yeah.
Do you hand address or is that